Hey, brothers and sisters, what's up? This is the Reluctant Mavi back again, coming to you from Brazil. Okay, and we have a lot to talk about today. Getting a lot of messages too. Um, for those of you that's been under a rock and don't know what's happening, uh, the NFL tried to sandbag Colin Kaepernick, but their issue and problem was he has lawyers. He has some pretty damn good lawyers, all right? And so while they tried to set him up, he dictated the narrative that they didn't want. All right. Now, since then, one should realize who the sellouts truly are, and you are starting to see who is for us as a people and who is not. When I say sellout, I mean literally. They completely sold out. Literally sold out. Okay, so Oi Francisco, Oi Prince, right? So they literally sold out. Now, allow me to apologize for this impromptu video. All right. We are having an issue with with a friend here too. That's going to be something. All right. But anyway, as we go into this, all right, hold on. As we go into this message here, I want y'all to understand something, that the powers that be have always been able to pay enough people that have followers to sell us out. And in order to conflate the message, you don't need all of us to be on board. All right. All you need is enough of us to participate in these fiascos. All right. And that's what they have. They have enough to participate in the fiasco. What's going on here is very, very sad. All right, mark this. What is going on here is very, very sad. You have a group of individuals that are being paid to sabotage a man who is standing up for something good. And it doesn't matter where you stand on this. What's up, King Groove? It doesn't matter where you stand on this. But as I looked at so-called black people and looked at their reasons for rejecting the message of Kaepernick, I started to really see and understand how sorry many of us are, and what a thorough brainwashing job the BAW has done on the minds of many of their sons growing up, to the point where they think of everything as not what's beneficial for us as a community. Hola, tudo bem? Ah. All right, they don't think about what's beneficial to us as a community. All right. Now they're now they're down to seeing things as just a color. All right. Hold on for a second. I'm trying to get the message out. All right, and so here we are. Here we are in a state of created mess where we got a bunch of messed up minded. I want to say the raccoon word, but only the root. All right, because this is what it's all come down to. It's come down to a situation where not only can we no longer think critically, but if we are told not to like a person that is trying to speak for our issues, regardless of how much publicity let me just say this like this. The most sorry thing that I've heard of all of this, coming from a lot of these sellout Negroes, all right, a lot of these dudes that are on these channels, I want y'all to understand something. In Facebook and everything, they are defending the owners who wronged Kaepernick. This is how sorry we have become as a community, where you get a bunch of clowns that are now defending the owners instead of Kaepernick. Can somebody explain to me what kind of sorry that is? All right, that's how sorry we become as a community. I mean, really, that's really how sorry we have become as a community. All right, hey, what's up, Taurus Johnson? Now, I know for many of you, this is way early in the morning. All right. Dang, for me, this is earlier than I wanted to be. But I wanted to get this up because a lot of our problem now is each other. It's always been. All right. It's one of the things that I started to realize over and over again, that we got a group of clowns that will not stand for anything, and we do not understand the impact of the single black mom on the minds of their sons, their boys. So much to the point that they still think like boys. All right. Now, let's be clear. Let's look at what Kaepernick's stand was. His stand was against police killing unarmed Afro men. Understand this. This is his stand. This is the message. And then he decided not to kneel for a racist anthem. And it is racist. It was created by Francis Scott Key, who was trying to preserve slavery. And in the national anthem, if you go and read the third verse, you will see what Francis Scott Key really meant. He wanted the people fighting for their freedom to die. These people, this media, the NFL, the people running it, the people that's been in charge, the media, the owners. Let me break something down to you. One of the most wicked things that they have been able to do, and it's due to the wickedness of the minds of us as a people, is take somebody that has done good, turn the good that they have done into wickedness, and turn the wickedness that they have done to another into victimization. And this is sad. The NFL unjustly blackballed a guy that was standing up for the right thing when they've let criminals play, they've let wife beaters play, they let drug users play. At no point ever in the NFL's history they really blackballed anybody until Kaepernick took a stand for Afro people, because too many were dying at the hands of police that were, and the Afro men were unarmed. In other words, and this is how sorry a lot of these simps are. This is how sorry a lot of these simps are. The simps then went to his play. Well, they was like, he didn't start protesting until after he was sat down with a 55 QBR rating. And I was like, I'm thinking, anybody that comes up with that kind of argument, you should understand is a traitor to the community. Period. What does somebody kneeling for justice have to do with anything? But you're saying he didn't risk anything. And we're going to go into his little workout and the messages he was trying to send. All right. And why he wore the Kunta Kinte shirt. Why he wore the Kunta Kinte shirt had everything to do with the contract that they was trying to get him to sign. See, the NFL, and this is what started everything, they didn't want any media, right? And they tried to get him to sign away his rights as a man, as a human being. I want you to understand this. This is what happened. So you got these idiots, but we're going to talk primarily about Stephen A. Smith. Now, as you know, Stephen A. Smith got a new multi-million-dollar contract with ESPN. And since he got the contract, he's been throwing Afro people under the bus for justice, towing the line of the marketplace, towing the line of the people that are actually causing harm to us as a community. How are they causing harm? They get to control the narrative, because we have none. All we have is the hope that somebody will speak on our behalf that are being paid these millions of dollars. But they won't, especially as men. They are towing the same feminist agenda. they are towing the same slave agenda. All right, we have an issue. And the issue pretty much is us. The issue is pretty much ourselves. And the issue is every time some of us stand up for what's right, we'll have a bunch of other clowns that have been paid. And understand this. This is why I said we are to not trust any black person working in Hollywood. And by Hollywood, I mean ESPN, the media. They are controlled by the media. They do not necessarily push our agenda. Period. We are not to trust them at all. Not to get anything that we talk about. We are not to trust them. What's up, Frankie? Hey, what's up, David Bowman? All right, now, let's go into the contract. Let me break down the contract real quick. In his contract, there was a clause in the contract where, and his lawyers said, don't sign this piece of garbage. He didn't get the standard contract. Nothing about this was standard. Max Kellerman smelled a rat from the get-go. All right, I want you to understand who's not defended Colin Kaepernick and who's been defending Colin Kaepernick. Most of the Caucasian men and some of the sports writers that can read and who have some sort of legal degree that looked at the contract, they say Colin Kaepernick is 100% right. Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith smelled a rat the whole way through. He didn't know what the rat was going to be, but he smelled one. You understand? He smelled a rat, and he understood that the owners were up to something. They wanted to do so much damage to this man's name. They wanted to tell so many lies, and you can see what the setup was going to be. They were going to have control over the media. They was going to have control over the narrative, and they was going to not let a man who is standing up for justice to control the narrative. He was smart enough to see that there was a skunk. It wasn't a rat, it was a skunk. That's how bad this smell was. All right, it was a setup. The workout for Sunday was galvanized by the people of Atlanta. That's who has his back. Remember, these industries do not have our back. And I agree with a message from a brother who said that the industry, the sports industry, especially in football, only wants the Afro men that play to roll over and do what Massa says. Period. They will not have it from the quarterback because the quarterback controls the locker room. Think about it. Why would they sit down Kaepernick for a worse quarterback? The whole thing smelled. He was probably talking about what was going on and voicing his mind to the 49ers about this issue long before he was sat down. A lot of the Afro people in the NFL were alarmed at what was going on with all these police shootings. All right, but he as a quarterback was going to take the brunt of that issue. Why? Because he's a quarterback. All right, I stopped watching football. I was a Steeler fan. I stopped watching football and a lot of stuff behind this mess. As a matter of fact, a lot of real brothers, the real ones, stopped watching football behind this mess. Okay? Behind this mess right here. What's going on is a lot of these issues that are going on is starting to separate who has good intent for us as a people. Hey, what's up, Marcel? Who have good intentions and who the sellouts really are. Look in the media. I forget the really heavy-set dude that worked with Colin Hurd that's never played any sports in his life. You can't tell me he's played sports given how big he is. Whitlock. All right, he's been a sellout. All right, but Stephen A. Smith was questionable. All right, but now he went full-on sellout. And the strange thing about this is, while you have many of us standing up, I want you to understand, you have, what's up 911 nomad? While you have many of us standing up, you also have many Caucasians standing with us. All right? Keep this in mind. You have many Caucasians standing with us. The sad part is we as a people have to battle against so many of us because they are so wretched and can't think for themselves that the media has to think for them. All right, so this is what's going on. They had a clause in the contract that he is to give up all his rights, and this is just for the workout. All right, it was different, and they put the clause into the thing. Now, Colin Kaepernick was smart to have his lawyers look over it and tell him what it means. All right, there was a clause in it that said that you give up all your rights as a human being and as a man to take actions against the NFL if they do something against you. These are a group of men, all these owners, that have lied, been dishonest, been racist, right? Oh, we could call it racist because They control what happens in the NFL. All right. And you fools got to understand this. You are a fool if you don't understand this. Just because you get paid millions of dollars don't mean you're not a slave in a particular system. Any system that takes away your rights to do anything you want to do to the point where you can't think for yourself, that they have to approve of anything you say, do, eat, how you live, or there will be consequences, then you're a slave. Only the whip is the fines. All right? And this is how the fines work. They get these young black men raised by a single mama who don't know how to handle money. They give them a lot of money so they could buy up a bunch of ridiculous stuff so they could be seen on cribs and stuff like that. Understanding that these dudes are not informed about taxes on that stuff. They're not informed about how they don't need a 50-room mansion if they're single. All right? They don't understand. I was looking at how these basketball players pass mansion along to mansion along to mansion as they move from place to place. And I'm like, why do they need a mansion if you're single? Oh, it's for show. Because that's part of the front. That's probably in the contract that you will live this kind of way. Because we need you to be a total image. So you spend a godly amount of money on things, and this is how these dudes end up so broke about 5 years after they come out of the NBA. They don't put money aside because I'm not sure that they can. All right. Oh yeah. Social media. All right. Social media is not the two-edged sword that we think it is. Social media is the best thing that could have happened to us. Because while we see so much ugliness on the social media, understand this, we are starting to see who the BAWs really are. We are starting to see the traps that people have laid for us, the traps that they've laid for good brothers. We are seeing the attitudes that people have towards people that try to do good for the community. And we are also seeing why it is not worth it so long as you have a community that is run by the single BAW. One of the things that keeps this evil up is a bunch of simps that will always buy a single woman a house, this, that, and the other. Somebody bought a single woman a house with an 18-year-old boy, but nobody ever tells them, why didn't you get a husband? Because they say, we don't need to get a husband. There will always be a simp or somebody in this place that will always be on our side so we could be as evil as BAWs as we want to be. This is the mentality and mindset of them. They've raised wickedly stupid individuals. There's a difference between stupid and ignorance. Ignorance is not knowing. Stupid is not wanting to know. Never in my life did I see a bunch of males not want to know information. That they only wanted to sift through information that only supported their point of view. Never have I seen that before. All right. And so when we get to this, it gets to the point where you really don't know who to trust. And if we're going to really be honest, we can't trust anybody that has not consistently stuck to our issues. And by our issues, Remember, every other community starts with the man. And that should be the same with ours. We're the only ones that got people trying to brainwash us into believing that the community should be based on the woman. I was having a conversation with a sister that's in the army. She was over a friend's house with her husband, and she was talking about how her brother thinks about who the Most High is, and how a friend of ours, mutual friends of ours, think about who the Most High is. And then what hit me after she left, I started to, and I hope to see her again, but if I do, I'm going to tell her, look at the nature of her brother and our mutual friend who believe that the Most High is feminine and that the woman is God, and look at my nature and tell me which one is the strong man. Which one would you want defending you and providing for your future? Oh, I know what the answer is going to be. And I'm going to tell you how I know what the answer is going to be. It's because this woman sat out there and listened to me for about 2-3 hours. Out in the hall. She wanted to hear what I had to say about some things. It's because it's probably the first time she heard a real man say some stuff. Understand this. One of the things that's happened is these women have conditioned us to be so dumbed down that we accept anything, anybody that wants to cause us harm, we will accept anything they do to us. These owners clearly went in intending to cause harm because they control the media, right? But while they control the media, they do not control Facebook. They do not control YouTube. And YouTube and Facebook, they've been trying, honestly, to try to shut down voices, especially Afro voices, people that speak to the betterment of the community. Part of this is they use the women to try to shut us down, because destruction of the Afro men in the short term benefit the women. In the long term, it becomes hell to the women and the children. And in the long term, if the Afro man perseveres, get his stuff in order, and learn not to be entrapped by the woman, he can persevere. And this is what's happening. And now, a lot of brothers are starting to think outside the box. A lot of people think Colin Kaepernick has lost because he wanted to play football and he don't get to play because he didn't sell his soul. In other words, a lot of these dudes are preaching that Colin Kaepernick, and when I say dudes, I'm talking about these so-called black men, are preaching that Colin Kaepernick should have been a sellout. If he would have been a sellout, he'd be playing football. And I say, no, he wouldn't be playing football. And he was smart enough to realize that. If he would have sold his soul and signed that contract and did exactly what the NFL wanted to do, they would have crucified him in the media and lied about how talented he still was. And all these dudes that never took a snap, never played any football at all, are critical of him because he could throw a 50-yard pass in the air. Understand it. He can throw a 50-yard pass in the air. And they said, but there's no defense. Okay? And I'm like, with help with your arm. Many of the dudes that said no, let's say all of the dudes that was like, there's no defense, so what, he can throw, they can't throw a 20-yard pass. You see what I mean? Black sons, or so-called black sons, often are the ones managing their money and starting business that clearly fail much later down the road and become bankrupt. All right, you're right. A lot of these dudes that start these money that's raised by these single females, they start businesses that go out of business quickly. A lot of these dudes go into these football contracts without an understanding of basic English. Never mind legalese English. All right, so they become fodder for the NFL. They become fodder for the people that they have to get to handle their money. And this is the thing. They say, okay, you're going to have millions of dollars, and so you can't handle millions of. Yes, you can. You can handle millions of dollars. It's the same thing about learning about taxes. Here's the thing. I was audited once, right? And I had to pay $3,000, even though everything I earned from this channel, I gave to the community and stuff. Hey, simplified USMC vet. All right. But I learned the laws, and I learned what software to use to better navigate what I do. When Google, now that black women took everything down, it still don't matter if everything gets built back up. The other thing that I did was I learned how to do what I do and get help in a way that is best for what I do. Remember, when y'all send stuff to me, all of it goes for soccer balls, help me pay for the trips to come down here to get them and put them in the community, help me to get the NGO stuff that they need, individuals in the NGO that need things to help them function, it helps me to get that. All right, so a lot of these things, right? A lot of these things, when you really look at it, I needed the donations. The donations helped, right? But the other thing that you have to understand is when tax time come around, I need to know how to navigate that system. Because they're going to want to take away my ability to do what I do. However, with the right software that I paid for, I can declare everything as given away because I can prove I give it away. A lot of the times, that's why when I come down here, I show what I bought and then I give it away. Because I don't want to have people sign a paper trail to get a stupid soccer ball. I want to just give them the dang soccer ball, or the dang drone, or the dang whatever. All right? All right, hold on. We got to listen to this, Garland Berry. Right, they need tax attorneys, right? But you don't need tax attorneys. You don't need tax attorneys if you live within your means or you live within your future means. The reason why these guys need tax attorneys is because $1 million, $2 million, $100 million is not enough money for them to live off of. That's why they need tax attorneys. When I was making a lot of money on YouTube, I was happy with my little place, and I was happy enough to give it all back to the community. You see what I'm saying? These people got programmed to thinking that they need to be in mansions and stuff like that to be happy, and they're not happy. They're being used by the females who's getting rich off of them. Every vice, you don't see too many of these people leaving the sports arena in any kind of good shape. All right, so hold on. Let me read Granberry. He says, brother, I was in the NFL preseason process. They used to have something called a rookie symposium. And it's a lot of former NFL players that went through being broke and worked their way back. They warn us bad investments and frivolous spending. They don't listen, and yes, they are products of single moms. Okay, yeah, anytime. There it is, Granberry. He calling it out. Right, gifts to the children with all the hassle. He's calling it out. And so, this narrative, when you have Colin Kaepernick stand up for what's right, the NFL easily was easily able to galvanize people that should support him, not because it's him, but they were able to galvanize a bunch of people against him. One, there's a bunch of fools on Facebook saying that we should be against him because he's mixed. I don't give a hoot. I appreciate when other people of other communities can stand up and see the hatchet job that the NFL and these media are doing on us as a people. I appreciate this. And that makes me hopeful that, okay, we got somebody that is a part of the community. All right? Hold on for a second. Got a message from Selmina. So they're in Sao Paulo. Moment. All right, so eu quero conversar com você e Juliana, porque eu tenho coisas para você, para tempo. So, tudo bom? Tudo, oh, ok.
Beautiful t-shirt.
Você gosta. Muito poucas pessoas não gostam de flamenguistas, mas para mim, qualquer, eu gosto de flamenguista.
Flamengo is playing
Champion.
A great
Campeão.
decision, decision.
Campeão.
And so proud. I want to see the result of this display. I don't know when. I don't like that Brazilian people and they love football all the time and they forget their problems.
Yeah, muito ruim. Muito ruim.
They forget everything and many things in football, focus football.
Agora, eu fazendo um vídeo ao vivo, y'all, Selmina. So eu fazendo um vídeo ao vivo, So, nos Estados Unidos, quarterback para futebol de americano, um, owner, passou control futebol nos Estados Unidos, pega para team, right? Owner, right? E faz falso prática para ele, falso prática para ele. Quero lie. Eu não sei palavra para lie. Wanted to lie. Sim. E so, muitas pessoas. Mentira. Entendo, mentira. Muito mentira. So, eu falo vídeo ao vivo por causa muitas pessoas falam com jornal nos Estados Unidos, muitos homens negros suportam owners. Homens negros suportam owners, mas pessoa contra sistema e ele não todo negro, parte negra, parte branco, entende? E so, branco pessoas tem problema. Eu falei, não tem problema. Ele pecado para nós todos. Ele pecado para comunidade, como correto, o que é correto, o que é verdade. Ok? E so, eu falo com muitas pessoas agora e na comunidade tem muito problema. And so, what we were talking about is, Selmina says there's the same problem over here with football over here, that many people are so concerned with football, and this is what I've been saying to us, many people are so concerned with football that they're not concerned with problems that are bigger than football. Okay? And Garland Berry, he says something just really, really insightful from being there. A pessoas jogam de futebol profissional para baixo tempo. E ele fala com nós de muito pessoas jogam futebol, usa todo o dinheiro, fala com jovem futebol, jovem pessoas jovens de futebol americano, e pessoas não ouvem, ele usa dinheiro, mulher usa dinheiro, grande em casa usa dinheiro, negociam muito ruim, negociam usa dinheiro. 5 anos depois, futebol americano, pessoas não têm dinheiro. Okay? And so we was talking, all right? And so there's the same thing in Brazil. And this is the circus and some bread argument all over again, okay? In that a lot of these people, all right, get so involved with the aspects of the sport that we don't stand for ourselves, even when if at any time a bunch of brothers should have galvanized together and said, we're not going to play football, F you owners, they should have walked out. Period. Over this. If you can't kneel and protest somebody killing you, then I don't know what's wrong with you as a person. So, Estados Unidos, polícia morre muito homem. Não tem nada. Homem manda abrir, polícia, Homens joga de futebol muito bravo, para anthem de nacional, Neil, não fica, Neil, onde tem problema, quando onde não gosta do Trump, onde Neil, hypocrite. See, and so as we're talking about this, so wait, so as we're talking about this, we are starting to understand that the problem is the same in Brazil as it is in the United States. All right, and this is what I want you to understand. We're talking about Brazilian football and American football. The difference between these, not much, except that they're two different games, but the passion and the people and how they follow how they follow football in the United States and how they follow football in Brazil is different. And what this does is it takes our attention away from real important things. If we didn't have anything to speak up, if we didn't have anything going on, or if we would have been able to use it as a platform to better the lives of many, okay, then that would have been okay. But that's not what's happening. It's a means of distraction. All right. Football in Brazil, football in the United States keep people distracted away from real issues and real problems. And so we don't spend money or anything. All right. We don't spend, none of the football players have money to spend on communities or anything. But then again, if you look at how jacked up the mentality is of the fans, why would you spend money in a community run by single BAWs with a bunch of children that they had from jailbirds? You see what I'm saying? No, you do more worthwhile causes. And it's hard to find us. Hey, what's up, Sean Perry? It's hard to find those good causes is because whenever you find one, the first people to shut down what you do and question what you do is the people that you're trying to help, which would be these simps. All right, Torrance, to the point that they're saying that you work for the white man money and you bought and paid to do whatever he wants you to do. And that's not true. That's not true in any job. It's because they don't do that on their job. Think about it. All the worker strikes that have gone on in the United States. What did you, huh? That's it. Yeah, pay. Pay. No. Tay. Hold it. No. Pay or tay. But pay. She was fooling. But anyway, yeah, she was fine. Okay, so Torrance Johnson says, all right, they want to be silent Afro men. But here's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up, Torrance Johnson. I'm glad you, all right, remember the Bears team. Who was the quarterback for the Bears team that had Refrigerator Perry? See who remembers this. I'll wait. Who was the quarterback for the Bears team? And what do you remember about this quarterback? And keep remember, McMahon. Yep. All right. Oh yeah, you would know Garlandberry. What do you remember about McMahon? What do you remember about him? We are blindsided in all these sports because our people dominate them. So BAW are saying that their sons, it's all about money. Right. Give them bread in the circus, right. But what do you remember about McMahon? McMahon was against Melo? Okay. Ah, você quer bebida? Okay. All right, McMahon, let me say this. Yeah, she put a smile on my face. But McMahon, he was protesting Roselle. He protested Roselle. He did everything he did. He put on a headband and wrote Roselle on it. He did anything he wanted to do, and nobody said anything to him. As a matter of fact, he got the rebel tag and he got a whole bunch of commercials. All right, but you get Kaepernick that tries to stand up for Afro people, and we don't care what the Caucasian people do. Right now, we're talking about what we did as a community, and I don't know how you can have a divided community on what this guy was standing for when you was the one that's saying that the police should not shoot unarmed men in the backs and murder them. I want y'all to understand this. You see what I'm saying? I want y'all to understand that this is some crazy stuff. So the same people that march after somebody is done in don't want to prevent the issue. Okay, don't want to prevent the issue. Okay, this is what I wanted you to understand, that McMahon, they called him a rebel, but not only did he not stand this, that, and the other, he broke a whole bunch of rules. He did whatever the hell he wanted to do. Period. And I don't have a problem with it. What I do have a problem with is that Colin Kaepernick can't do anything he wants to do because he's standing up for Afro people. And the main people that don't want him to do what he wants to do are, well, the people that are against Afro people having any kind of rights in the United States. They think that because you get paid, that you should do whatever the boss or the Caucasian man wants you to do. While if they work for you, you can't tell them anything because they got rights. All right, hold on. Was really outspoken. Yes, he was. All right. So we got a lot of this hypocrisy going on. All right. We got a lot of this hypocrisy going on. Right? But okay, we got all this hypocrisy going on. Hold on a second. Hold on for a second. And most of it is coming from us as a people. Hold on for a second. All right, so got a couple messages going on too. So hold on. All right, so basically, we got a lot. Our biggest problem is these products of these single BAWs. That's our biggest problem. All right, and these sports are becoming too much of a distraction to where we do not care about the community anymore. All right. We care about what the owners and hold on, this is also a sad part. You got a bunch of people that care more about the feelings of the owners than they do our own people. All right. And that's where we're at. It looks like we may have lost a friend. Okay. For those of you that saw one of my other videos, there was a woman that I liked. She was in the one that was in like the brownish orange jumpsuit, and she disappeared right after I left. So I'm thinking we lost contact for another one reason, but I don't even know. Man, I hope not the worst. Okay, right. The only Afro people that have any rights are the BAWs, right? And they have agreed to curtail the rights of their sons, to put them in organizations and or things where they will have no rights and won't be able to stand for themselves. All right. This should be a problem for many. All right. But the sad part that is not. Mommy, only citizen. Eu dar bolas para você. Você tem? Não, você não tem? Oh, ok. Ok. Quando eu terminar aqui, eu pegar para você. Você viu um bolas? Oi? Você viu um bolas? Não, não. Viram não? Você conhece? Ah, ok, ok. Ok. Depois, yeah, depois eu terminar. Isso aí. Quanto tempo Estados Unidos, Brasil, quanto tempo? Você viu? Não, não. Muito fácil. Tem foro. Ok, aqui. Tem aqui Estados Unidos. Não aqui. Essa aqui. Ok. All right. So that's basically it. All right. NFL only tries to keep a leash on the players with something called the character clause, which they really do not specify what violates the clause. I never signed the contract because I understood the language, and my mentor who played for the Falcons warned me about this said clause. Me about this said clause. And see, hold on. Now, I want y'all to understand something. Because we get into another part of this, right? The other part of this is that it isn't like these people are not being warned. It isn't like these sons are not being warned when they go into this league. It's just that for many years, these children have been taught by their BAW single mother not to listen to another man, not to listen to a strong male figure, not to take any pointers for them, not to learn from them. Period. So, and I mean on a mental level, they cannot say what it's clearly defined as wrong and right on a mental level. And so when these people go into these sports, oh, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you haven't. When these people decide to go into sports, they are at a disadvantage mentally. All right. And part of that disadvantage, and this is out of their own control. If somebody has been in a job before you and they're trying to give you some pointers, you should listen. But Garland Berry, you can figure this out. In most cases, these males will not listen to the Afro men that have come before them. In many cases. Why? Because that's what their mama told them not to do. That's what their mama taught them not to do, to listen to an Afro man. They learned it by example, and they learned it from out of the so-called proverbial horse's mouth. All right. And this is why they are being taken for a ride. All right. This is why they're being taken for a ride. They didn't listen in school, or they would understand that the language is different. In college, they figured they were going to end up in the NFL, so they didn't care. If you look at all of this, right, they have done themselves a disservice. All right. What is to be said about all of this? Only God knows. But you cannot build a community with these kind of dudes that have this kind of mentality. And we cannot choose for wives women that would teach this kind of mentality, because as soon as you turn your back, they will sabotage your son. We can't have anything, because anytime anybody fights for what's right for us, their biggest battle is going to be us. And it's sad that the ones that's being done the most wrong have so many sellouts to keep us on a plantation. And the most serious of those are the followers of those being paid to sell us out. And that's the real issue and problem. You can't be right and get right if you don't want to know what right is. Somebody tried to tell me ignorance is bliss. And I retorted back, no, ignorance is dangerous. It's not blissful. It always gets you in trouble. And I don't know any ignorant, happy people. But while ignorant may be bliss to some, I argue that they're not having ignorance. They're just being plain old stupid. Stupid meaning refusing to learn. They don't want to learn. You understand? They don't want to learn anything. They don't want to change ways that are failing. They don't want to build success off of learning what not to do. Exactly, and that's why they get caught in it. 42% of their money is tied to that clause. They do what Google do and change the rules when they want. It also shows why they want to know your family. Ooh, that's deep. See, I didn't know they want to know your family. So look how deep this is. Hey, good morning, Lionel Judah. Okay, man, Garland Berry is like putting up some knowledge. Now, they will want to know your family because if you got a single mom, all right, they know that you're not going to listen to crap. And they could use the mess out of you. Yep, the problem is the dumbing down of the single black moms and their son dealing with slavery contracts of the ghost man, which can be clearly understood on a on a plan level of understanding. All right, because if they're knowledgeable, they don't want them. Pay them or pay them pennies. Hold on for a second. Hold on, man. All right. Okay, so basically, so this is what we have. So um, we have a situation where we are sold out by our own. All right. I will never listen to. I cannot honestly listen to Stephen A. Smith anymore. All right. We already knew Whitlock was a sellout. Now, understand this also. Understand this also. All their whole fan base, they have a fan base that follow their every word. When Stephen A. Smith got that contract, when he signed that contract, I already knew what was up. Okay, I already knew what was up. Hold on. Hoje você conjunta comigo hoje. All right. So this is where we are. We are in a place where we can't trust anybody in the media, can't trust anybody in Hollywood, don't trust anybody making your movies, right? Um, Man, who was the judge? Judge, what's his name? Had a comment on Facebook that said Harriet Tubman is a slap in the face of all men. For it is a flat slap in the face of men for them to make her the face of anything before they make it a man. Especially given this. Judge Joe Brown. All right, Judge Joe Brown. He said this. There is a concerted effort by all media to negate the influence of Afro men on children. Let's just make it straight. All right. The BAW has now lost control of the plantation. She's worthless, right? We see her as worthless, right? The other thing, there has been an uptick on passport and brothers exiting the so-called black community, right? She's worthless to the system. No longer can she imprison the men that have means in the system. One of the things that they're starting to recognize is brothers like me are teaching the younger men how to act responsibly. See, that is a danger to a system that wants us eliminated. You understand? That is, hold on for a second. Okay, and so, hold it. So this is what we have. And this onslaught is starting to fail in ways that this onslaught against the Afro male is starting to fail. All right. And so what's going on is they're coming up with new ways to try to sabotage us. And sports is the number one way that they sabotage the Afro male because most of these simps are going to be tied into having a sports hero as if sports is a heroic venture. All right. I would argue that Colin Kaepernick risking his millions, even after they told you you're risking your millions if you're going to keep doing this, makes him kind of heroic in a way that it doesn't make those that disagree with him heroic. They're nothing but sellouts, and they want to be sellouts. When dealing with the ghost man contracts, because he's selling your souls to the devil, and then single black moms for their sons signing them. That's the other thing. Forgot about that play. Did you notice that the mom that really had nothing to do with the success of a man going into the NFL is getting all the glory and prestige for him going into the NFL? And Torres Johnson points out a very important point that these moms are getting the glory for their sons going into the NFL as if the NFL is an achievement, but it is not. Chances are most of them are going to end up having CTE, especially if you're a lineman. And the other thing is you are under complete control of a Caucasian system that sees you as nothing more than esclave. Okay? Period. That's all they see you as. Now, this is what I wanted to remind you. There was a jockey, and this was pointed out on Sports Center way back in the day. There was a jockey during slavery that was a slave, but he was so good that he was winning his owner's million. As a matter of fact, he was earning a lot of money too. All right, but he was still a slave. And what it reminded me of is, get this, he was such a good jockey, right, that the owners bought and sold him to other owners that needed a jockey. In other words, he was making millions. He was a slave, meaning he really couldn't freely do what he wanted to do. However, he could kind of choose where he wanted to go. You see the parallel? What was the name of this jockey? Hold on. I'm gonna look his name up real quick, and I'll put it in here. Okay. All right. I think his name was Lon. Hold up. So there was a lot of black jockeys. All right. And as a matter of fact, there was Isaac Murphy. He won the Isaac Murphy. He won the Kentucky Derby 3 times. All right. You got Jimmy Wickfield, right? Now you have a lot of these jockeys that were slaves. Yeah, the black jockey that was a slave. He got paid millions, but he was still the slave. But what they did was they didn't trade him on the auction block like everybody else. They traded him from horse owners to horse owners to horse owners that wanted to compete in the Preakness Stakes, the Kentucky Derby, and all the rest of that stuff. But he was still a slave. And he was traded the same way you trade basketball, football, and baseball players today. The most restrictive contract is in football. The person that gets the least amount of money versus everybody else is in football. Y'all understand? All right. So this thing is, we're paying them millions of dollars. So with the millions of dollars that we're paying them, they should just do what we tell them to do. Well, y'all have always at time paid high achieving athletes a lot of money, but they could only do what you tell them to do. That's called slavery. It isn't working without money, it's working without rights. That's what slavery is. One of the rights you didn't have was to earn money for your work. All right. But see, we misunderstand the definition of slavery. All right. It is working without any rights to control your money, yourself, or what is done to you. And there it is. And it's a terminal condition. If it's thought, okay, Rock, we're going to boot you off of this crap because I'm tired of this mess. I don't care whether he's black or white or whatever. He's standing up for Afro causes. which is more than what you're doing. And I'm not going to have no ignorant buffoon like you on my channel. All right, period. I don't even like people like you around me. I don't care what color he is. I am for people who stand for what's right for us as Afro people, and I'm against those that preach this mess that you're coming up with. Because what does his color have to do with? He stands for what's being done to people that look like me. You stupid, silly fool. I don't care if his daddy's, I'm gonna put it this way. His race is who his daddy is. There's no such thing as a mixed person. Period. Who cares if he's staying relevant or not? I don't care why he's doing it. But then again, wait a minute. Y'all buffoons are buffoons because stay relevant. No, he's been on his message. Y'all haven't given up crap to say anything against him. However, he gave up millions to do what he was doing. And at worst, he gave up league minimum, which is still more than what you own. The Bible claims that you are who your father is, period. As a matter of fact, you ignorant person, in Deuteronomy, the 8 communities that we are to stay away from were all black. In Ezra, the 8 communities that we were supposed to stay away from were all black. Oh, and in both of them, Egypt was one of those communities. See, don't tell me what the Bible says. Matter of fact, I could show you better than I could tell you. Let's go to Deuteronomy real quick for these simple buffoons. Is it 9 or 7? All right. Deuteronomy 7. Okay, let's roll it up because we got some fools in the mix. So for the fools in the midst, this is what Deuteronomy 7 says. All right, that's Deuteronomy 7. These are all black nations that we are not to take sons or daughters from in marriage. They're all black, 100% black. You stupid fools. It's never been about the women, it's about the seed. And while you ignorant fools are touting that mess, y'all seem to realize that many, unless you're choosing a woman that looks my complexion, then according to y'all can't mess with them. And there's a reason why we don't mess with people like these. And this is why I don't deal with ignorant fools like those two that just popped up. Again, notice these are all black nations. Read them and weep, you stupid, ignorant fools. We don't care what you want. As a matter of fact, get off my channel. I hate ignorant clowns. I don't care. See, these are the enemies of Afro people. And this, in all sensibility, this may be a Caucasian person or a black woman. It might, this Ra 1381, that may be a Caucasian person, a supremacist, or a black woman. So that, So let's see. All right, this dude got a lot of Caucasian women on his thing. All right, so I went to his page, and he seems to have a lot of Caucasian women on his page. Yeah, but he's a hotep with a whole bunch of Caucasian supermodels on his page. Okay, and he's not about saving himself. Is because nobody that is saving ourselves, black men, is not a group. It's a mentality that we have to save ourselves and save our seeds. In other words, we don't believe in controlling who any other Afro man talks to, who he likes. All right. We're saying that he should save his seed, and part of the saving his seed is to leaving the BAW alone. But this seemed more like a Caucasian man who's trying to stir up mess. Okay, now to Ja Rules. To Ja Rules, right? He got a big deal from Nike only after Nike wanted to use him because of his protests, period. Before that, he lost his deal with Nike. But then again, you clowns, and this is the problem. This is why we as a people will never have anything. We got clowns like Ja Rules and there's Ra 1381. All right. This is why and these are agents. Ja Rule is an agent, Ra 13. Let me see what his page look like. Because he might be a troll. All right. Okay, Ja Rules is a dude that listens to a bunch of women. So I don't even know why you want to be all up here with men. Because this is men talk. So he could go back to listening to his woman. All right, so I don't deal with anybody that disses anybody. I don't see anybody that disagrees with somebody because they're protesting. I mean, think about this. There's Ja Rules and this other guy. They start mess over a man that's actually protesting injustice by the police towards Afro men. Think about that for a second. And their biggest issue with his message, and remember, Kaepernick is a one-trick pony, meaning that this is his issue, specifically the injustices against Afro men, that we can't walk down the street, right? He didn't switch it to women. He didn't switch it to a whole bunch of other stuff. It's the injustices against Afro men. Você terminar? Você terminar? Você? Ok. Momento, eu vou dar bolas para você. Okay, so these ignorant fools, right? They will never learn anything new. They don't want to do anything new. And the same kind of racist communique that we've gotten accustomed to, all right, that we've gotten accustomed to by the supremacy. That's what these guys are touting. All right, that's that Hotep new breed Israelite mess that's not Israelite. As y'all see up here clearly, that all the people that we could not mess with were black. And it gives the reason in Ezra because they were full of a bunch of abominations. So hence we don't mess with anybody that is full of abominations. That's what that's about. See, I get tired of these. This is why we need to separate from these clowns. These are the very clowns that we're supposed to separate from. We don't deal with them anymore. All right. Yeah, they are the so-called distraction. All right. And Jay-Z. Right. These are the same people that support Jay-Z, who was a drug dealer, and put a hip slop. All right. Understand this. All right. Understand this. And these guys want you to follow Jay-Z. These are followers of Jay-Z instead of what's right. All right. We can't trust any of these simps. Hold on for a second. Você quer conjunto comigo hoje? Okay. All right. And just think, Jay-Z was probably in on it. See, all this. I want y'all to understand. Yeah, we forgot about the Jay-Z angle. All right. So in the Jay-Z angle, the NFL covered all their bases, right? They control the sports analysts on ESPN and all of that stuff because all that belongs to the NFL. All right, they wanted to get the hip hop suckers because they know they can't think because they're too busy filling their head with smoke, right? So they can't really think clearly. So they wanted to get them and get them on board with this assassination of Colin Kaepernick's movement, right? And so what's going to happen is that the next time one of these clowns, something happened to one of these clowns that was against Kaepernick, they're going to wonder where the people are to stand up for their rights. And they're not going to realize that they squandered them away for most Afro people when they did this mess to come against Kaepernick for doing what he thought was the right thing and sacrificing his career that was still making more than all these dudes complaining and trying to say he's using Nike. So they would rather him sell out the message to get paid more millions by the NFL than a little bit of change he got. And these people are just really, really, there's really nothing more that could be said about them. But anyway, I will come back a little later. I got some balls to get out to some of the workers here. So I'm doing that now. So they could take home to their husbands and stuff. Because most of the guys that work in here, they're working people and they don't make nearly what we do, and they work 6 days a week. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna bust a move and end this, and I'm gonna be back a little later. All right, I'm gonna be back a little later today and do another live because I got another issue. And we're going to be talking about the women thing and things to look out for, even overseas when we're talking about dealing with the melanated woman. All right, peace, love, and soul. I'm out.